Welcome to my first ever video of furniture flipping. These are the pieces that we're going to be flipping. They are 2 nightstands. I'll get a close up in a second. I don't know if you guys can hear me okay. Please ignore the broken shed door. When I bought this house, it came with a shed, or what's left of a shed. But you gotta stay optimistic. Can't complain too much, at least it came with one. So yeah, follow along, and we're gonna be making some money together. I'll put some updates on what we made profit-wise and what I spent on materials. I'll show you guys what I'm using for materials, so maybe you can do it yourself too. First step though, we're gonna clean. So yeah, first step, we're just gonna clean them down, make sure all the dirt and grime is off, so that way, you know, the paint sticks well and we can make it look new. I have a lot of other pieces in here that I'm looking forward to showing you guys. There's some right there, I got some over there. I picked those up for free yesterday. Well, technically they weren't free because I had to pay this dude some gas money, but 20 bucks, 20 bucks, 20 bucks, you know what I'm saying? We're just gonna make it look new by slapping some wood filler on all the dings and dents. That's definitely a big step you don't want to miss.
Be sure to stick around to the end of the video to see this amazing transformation from ugly nightstand shelves to beautiful refurbished ones.
Cool, and now that they're all wiped down, since this one doesn't have one of these cabinet things, probably just gonna take this one off, remove the hardware, and then that way they match. They can just be little cubby areas. And then since they're all wiped down, the next step is gonna be to use the wood filler and fill in all these dings and dents. I'll get you guys a close-up so we can see what I'm talking about with that.
It's important to note here that this is not supposed to be the clean part of the project. All you're doing here is filling in all these holes, all these cuts, all these scratches, all these dings, and making it look brand new because you're just going to sand it all down at the end anyway.
Another thing I forgot to mention is that when you remove hardware that you don't intend on putting back on, or if you intend on replacing completely, you want to fill those holes where the hardware was before. Just another, you know, button up. Alright, so, quick update. If you are going to use the wood spackle in the cold, then be prepared to be waiting for a very long time. It is the next day now, and we made that mistake, but that's okay. Okay, so we got some 60 grit sandpaper, which is not exactly a scuff sand. For a scuff sand, you want to do like maybe 120 to 220 grit sandpaper, and that's going to basically give it like a very light scrub. But the finish on this wood is very thick, and so I'm going to go a little bit heavier. We're going to find out how it looks at the end. If it doesn't look good, we know for next time.
Now, if you were going to use a sanding block like I did in this video, make sure that you periodically tap it with your hand or on the floor to get rid of all that dust buildup to get a decent sand in. It's also good to periodically clean the surface that you were working on, so that way it's a lot easier.
That is nice and smooth. So what's going to happen here is we're going to paint over it, and it's going to feel brand new because of how it's going to look brand new because of how smooth it is. Whereas before, you know, it might not look like much because of all the wood filler is gone, but you can see all the scratches and stuff is completely filled in with wood filler. Even this big one right here. So this is going to look nice and new when we're done.
Alright, and this is going to be the rather tedious part because you're going to be doing the most sanding here. Basically what you want to do is get all of the obvious visible areas. For instance, I'm not going to sand on the inside of it because you're not really looking at that part. and you don't want to overwork it. Also make sure that you don't press too hard when you're doing this part, because you could damage more than fix, and obviously that is not the goal here. So again, when you're doing this part, all you want to do is go as quickly as possible. Since you are using a light grit sandpaper, it's going to be a lot easier if you have a power sander to use, but in this case we just used a regular sand block, but that's all right. Maybe we'll get one in the future, but again, the goal is to keep the expenses low and the profit margins as high as possible.
All right guys, we are almost done. All we got to do now is the priming with the spray paint, or the spray primer, I guess, and then we're gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna put on the first coat of paint. All right, and now that that is all wiped down, the back is removed, there's no dust on there or anything like that, we are good to go to start putting some primer on it. This is a brand that I have started using. I've heard a lot of good things about it. You can get it at Home Depot. It's like $7. Not too bad. I want to give it a good shake and then just try and put on an even coat. That looks pretty good. I can't even lie. That actually looks really good. I'm really liking how this is going, to be honest with you. I should get a mask though, because this is kind of hurting my nose. And there we have it. First layer is on. I didn't get the underside right here because that's really hard to reach. Neither did I get right there. So once this dries, we're gonna flip it over and do the underside. Hopefully this won't take too long to dry. All right guys, so now we have it completely sprayed with the primer. It's looking good. It took a little bit longer for it to dry. It's definitely because of how cold it is. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna flip it over on the sides, on the top part, so we can get underneath and wait for that to dry. Cool, so we are inside now, where we should have started from the very beginning, but it's okay because it's a learning process for us both, and we're gonna just get better from here. So what we're gonna do now is just tape off. So my idea is to do a two-tone. I'm seeing a lot of that on Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp, just doing a lot of two-tone things, a lot of neutral colors. So we're going to tape off the areas that we're going to do the first color, and then we're going to let that dry, and then do the same thing for the second color. I'm using some regular Scotch Blue 3M tape. You can find this pretty much anywhere, Home Depot, Lowe's, probably Michael's. Okay, and then to get started with the painting, all I got was just a basic kit for the paint. You want to get a foam roller kit. This is all it comes with. This in total was only like 15 bucks or so. Okay, so that is the first coat of gray paint for this little top piece right here. Nice. This looks great. Alright, and now that this is all done, we're just going to take off this paint. Why do I keep saying paint? We're going to take off this tape so we can get a clean cut, clean line. We're going to let it dry, and then we will decide if it needs another coat or not. I'm thinking it's going to need another coat, just looking at it. Okay guys, we are back, and I am very happy. This looks absolutely amazing. And honestly, I could not expect this to have turned out any better. This paint was only $2, like I showed you guys before, and it went on perfectly. It's very smooth. You can kind of see a little bit of scratches here and there, and this is only the first coat. So I think that it does not need a second coat by any means, but I'm going to definitely put a second coat on there because why not? The worst that I can do is get better. Now we just wait for it to dry. Okay, honestly, not much of a difference. The paint, second coat of paint is completely dry. Not much of a difference. It looks like there's like a higher quality paint on there, but that's it. So, would I do the second coat on everything? Probably not. Not worth the time painting and then waiting for it to dry. But I mean, if you got the time, you're not in a rush, then go for it. Alright, and here we go for the black paint. This black paint, I'm using Onyx, and we're going to see how it looks right now. I'm thinking we're going to do the legs the same color as this. I think that's going to look pretty good. Man, this really looks brown. I don't know. The only thing we need to do now is the edges, and my paintbrush is still wet. So we're just going to move on to the next one while this dries. Alright, so all the paint is dry. We got a nice coat on there. I'm not actually a big fan of the way this black is turning out, but we're going to do another layer, another coat, I mean, and we're going to wait for it to dry, and hopefully it'll get a bit darker, because right now it's looking almost brownish. Alright, now that we have the last coat on and all of the trim done and all of the tape all taped off and everything, we're just gonna take the tape off. We're gonna have a little cool transition line there, and then we're gonna be good to go. Alright, cool. So the last step about this project is just going to be getting these this bottom part done right here. We're going to match it with the top, and then that's going to be it for the entire project.
Alright, and here whenever you tape off the edges, make sure you press really firmly on those edges so that way when you're painting, none of the paint seeps through. And then of course when you actually start rolling, I recommend only doing one coat, because when we did 2 coats on the top part of the project, we didn't notice much, if any, of a difference at all.
Okay, awesome. So this is looking great. We're just going to let this dry. I remember when we did the top spray, we decided that it was not worth it to do another coat, so we're not going to do another coat. We're just going to leave it as is for the first coat, and then I'm going to do the second piece, and I'm not going to make you watch that because it's the exact same thing. Alright guys, so we are done with the project. Thank you so much for following along. Here is a quick before picture of, when it was all messed up. It was dirty, had a lot of dings and dents and scratches. And here is an after picture of when we stage it. As you can see, we put like a carpet down and, put some common household items on top. They are nightstands, so I put, things that I normally keep beside me, like a charger where I put my Apple Watch, my watches, just things like that, books, journals. So, when you post them on Facebook and offer up and things like that, you want to also stage it before you post it, so that way, other people might be able to envision it in their house when they buy it from you. Like, comment, and subscribe. A lot of time goes into these videos. I want to hear what you're working on. If you have any questions, shoot it down in the comment section or shoot me a message. I'd love to help, and maybe we can learn from each other. Stay tuned for the next one. I'm going to post my profits, what we made versus what we spent, along with all the material costs, so that way we can kind of cover that one, along with the next flip, which should be a lot quicker since we know a little bit more about what we're going to be doing. Again, thank you guys for watching. Peace.